Hi diddly ho! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another Ask an Esthetician. I don't think I've done one of these since I was pregnant. My dude is here right now beside me eating a grilled cheese sandwich. He may or may not interject with his thoughts. So I asked you guys on Instagram a little while ago for questions just on kind of like any aesthetics related subject. I narrowed it down to my 5 favorite questions, and here we are. Let's get right into this. Number 1, nail school versus aesthetic school, like which I would recommend. I think that really depends on what you're looking to get into. So nail academies, that kind of thing, are great. However, they do only focus, on nails. Aesthetic school, it can vary what you learn and how you specialize in things. Mine in particular, I went to Algonquin College in Ottawa, covered pretty much everything. There were some areas we focused a little more on than others. We pretty much covered everything that you could possibly get into in the industry. It was a lot of, it made it very clear to some people what parts of aesthetics they were really into and what they weren't, because it can be a very specialized field. Also keeping in mind that regardless of whether you go to a nail school or an aesthetic school, everything in this industry is offered in continuing education. So you can always add on to whatever you have as long as you have that initial certificate or degree. I can't speak for the quality of nail schools really, because I've never been to one. I went right into aesthetics, but I did choose with mine to focus more on nails, as well as medical aesthetics. So I have read into a lot of nail schools, because there was a lot of things in the nail portion of my aesthetics program that we didn't cover that they do cover in nail schools. So I had to kind of go through these to find extra courses in order to continue educating myself in nails. This was a very floopy answer, I think, but really there isn't one specific answer for everybody. Exactly. The next question. Have you worked with many gel brands, and what would you suggest for a beginner? So I've worked with 4 different gel brands. There are a lot, especially nowadays. Start with whatever brand your school uses. Get used to that, and then expand your knowledge from there, and then try out more professional brands. All schools will start with a professional brand. However, when you are just working at home, like practicing your skills, I do think it's probably the best idea financially, especially, to just get a cheap, crappy like Amazon, AliExpress brand. I do not suggest using those on real people. But if you're just practicing on like a practice hand or yourself, a very good friend, I don't know, don't use them on clients. But get used to using your school's brand and then expand from there. So as far as actual brands go, I have used C&D, Breeza Light, which does not exist anymore. That was a really good starter brand. I don't necessarily like the soak-off brands of hard gel. They do not last as long, and regardless of what people say, there's not, as far as the gel itself goes, there's not really a healthy version of any of those gels. That is a different rant for a different day. The next brand I used was Nail Innovationz, which is a more affordable professional brand. They're good. They have a wide variety of different consistencies and viscosities. They're pretty good in price range and in product range to be able to play around and figure out what kind of gels you like to use and how they hold up. It's a good introductory gel. I've also used Light Elegance, which is definitely on the more pricey side. I would not use that until you've gotten the hang of one of the cheaper brands. But Light Elegance does have a very wide range of products and they hold up very well. They're really good for a professional product. I personally prefer Magic Gel Systems. This is what I use right now. I've been using Magic Gel Systems now for, I think, 3 solid years. So I will link their stuff down below. They're my favorite. They are the best. And I mean, it's all personal preference, so I can't speak for you. Next, during quarantine, I prefer to do my waxing at home. I pretty much wax everywhere. Would you suggest using a hard or soft wax for personal use? If you're using your own personal pot, I would suggest getting a container of hard, getting a container of soft, because technically you can wax everywhere with soft wax. It's just not ideal to do everywhere with soft wax. Technically you can do everywhere with hard wax. It's just not ideal to do everywhere with hard wax. Hard wax is best for the super sensitive smaller parts. So eyebrows, underarms, bikini area. Soft wax is better for like widespread areas, arms, legs, face, bikini. Absolutely, hard wax is the way to go. If you just do your arms or your legs, soft wax is the way to go. You don't want to be trying to do big surface areas with hard wax. That's just not going to work out for you. You're not going to like it. Just take note of where I just suggested using each type of wax and judge for yourself. Like I said, if you have a pot that you can just interchange stuff, or even better if you have a double pot, not everyone does, obviously. But if that is the case, if you're waxing head to toe at home, you might as well invest in a double pot. You can get them at Sally's, and then just use one side for hard wax, one side for soft wax, and just get her all done. Are homemade skincare products actually worth it? Are you asking, do they work? Does it work the effort? Here's the thing. So I was asked on my last Ask an Esthetician video, or the one before that, some older one from the past, if I could do an esthetician reacts video. I do plan on doing this. Obviously there are a lot of these 5-minute craft content farm bullshit videos out there, and it drives me freaking nuts, which I think is why a lot of these different professionals that are on YouTube do react videos, because it drives us freaking nuts. So yes, I will do one of those. Just for the most part, these skincare hacks or recipes or whatever, they're mostly just food ingredients you have at home, and it's not really going to hurt you, but I do need to mention 2 very specific things that I'm sure will come up in the Took the words right out of my mouth. So the 2 things I have to mention are any recipes with cinnamon in them, don't. Just don't. This is a thing that I've seen come up in soap videos. Royalty Soaps and Sophia Nygaard mentioned it in her recreating the craft soaps. And the exact same thing for skincare. Just don't put cinnamon on your skin. It will burn you. And then the other thing I had to mention was that I did see a 5-minute crafts skincare hack video, and there were so many recipes that had excessive amounts of tea tree oil. No, just don't. It's not bad to put tea tree oil in these things, but you really, 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 yes, need to be careful, because tea tree oil is so concentrated. Literally like one tiny teensy weensy barely visible little drop mixed in with a carrier oil and a couple other ingredients to make a large portion of something is enough for your skin. I saw one video where they put like 5 drops of tea tree oil in a fucking face mask, and I cringed. Oh. Well, you don't do it, because it will ouch so bad. You will learn a lesson, I hope. And then the last question is, out of school, do you recommend working from home or from a salon? Now, I think everyone out of school should work in at least 2 salons. I mean, obviously, if you get into a salon and you love that salon and they love you and everything works out and you have a good client base, stay with it. I don't suggest floating around. But if your first salon job doesn't work out for whatever reason, I suggest working at least 1 more salon to get at least your 2 salons in, just to kind of get an idea of how they work, how they pay, how getting clients works, because you cannot work freelance unless you've worked in a salon. So many people make the mistake of trying to go freelance the second they get out of school, and even if you've only worked in 3 different salons for a week at a time, you at least have something to go off of. You can't just learn the textbook business side of it in school and then assume you know what you're doing. It's just, you're setting yourself up for failure. I ultimately, in the long run, prefer working freelance. That's just me. I hated working in every salon that I worked at, even the ones I like, that had nothing to do with the salon itself, not even necessarily the people, but the way that you can be very restricted, especially if you were like me and you wanted to specialize in multiple fields. It holds you back almost, I feel. Definitely prefer freelance. Do not, though, immediately go into freelance. Just don't do it. I've seen it fail multiple times. So yeah, there we go. That was it. That was all 5 questions. If you would like me to elaborate, if I missed something, if you asked a question and I didn't get to it, please leave that down in the comments. I will answer things as best I can or put them in the book for my next Ask an Esthetician. And give it a thumbs up if you liked it, if it helped you, if this answered your questions. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here and you feel so inclined. And we'll see you in the next one.